You're watching the Batter Fans Network.
Welcome, everybody, to episode number 47 of the Battle Heat Fans Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Garnett, and alongside me, as always, Mr. Daniel Solana. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. We're streaking, baby. One game.
It's not a streak.
Streaking? No? Has to be two?
It has to be two. It has to be two. We got tomorrow night against Boston, which has lost 3 of their last 4, and Jaylen Brown didn't play last game. They lost to the Pacers, so maybe they're right for the picking. Maybe we can pull off an upset. But anyway, last night, the Miami Heat beat the Phoenix Suns 127-121 at home. It started off well. They were cooking. Tyler Hero had a good first half. The team just in general looked really good. And it kind of all went away in the third quarter. The third quarter, as it's been dubbed by a lot of people, they were up by 17 and a half. They were up by 20 a couple possessions into this third quarter. And then by the end of the third quarter, the game is tied going into the fourth quarter. It was a disaster. But I don't know if we want to harp on the first 3 quarters at all. I think today we should just focus in on that fourth quarter and your boy Bam Adebayo. What did you think about Bam last night?
I mean, he was great, right? 29 points. He was +9 on the plus minus, 9 big rebounds. And he was clutch when the Heat needed him most in the fourth quarter, making 14 straight points at one point to bring them back into the lead. And he was
14
fantastic.
straight?
Man. Yeah.
Shit. Okay. I thought it was 10 straight. Damn, 14. Okay. Well, I mean, because the Phoenix Suns ended up taking the lead. And yeah, I think Bam completely took over, which I haven't seen him do this season yet. He had a steal. I think it was on an inbounds play where he got the steal, took it down, got the dunk. Then he hits what I thought was a 3, toe on the line, basically a 3. And then he comes back and hits another 3. And I want to say he hit, I think it was the dunk, the 2, the 3, and then he hit one more 3. And I remember when he took that last 3, I had no doubt it was going to go in because the way he was flowing, the way he looked, although this is going in. And I think my favorite thing about last night, I don't know if actually let me take that back. I don't know if it's a great thing, but he was playing so good offensively that you could see the energy defensively. As soon as anybody went up for a shot anywhere near the rim, no matter where he was like flying in to try to contest that shot. You could see the difference in him, and he's great defensively. I'm not saying that he doesn't try, but last night, man, he was flying all over the place defensively, and I think it's a lot to do with how he was feeling on the offensive end.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about what the team did defensively, Danny, I thought it was interesting that in the fourth quarter, when it was crunch time, Spo went offense for defense. He put Pelle Larsson in when the Heat were on defense, together with Tyler Hero, with Jaime Jaquez, with Bam
Wiggins and Bam.
Adebayo, and he took out Norman Powell, and then he would put him in when the Heat went on offense. So I thought it was interesting how Spo took out Norman Powell instead of Tyler Hero, somebody who you would think that, doesn't do well defensively, and they pick on a lot defensively, but he would left him for the crunch time minutes, and he put in Pelle Larsson for defense.
It might have also been because Norman Powell was on 5 fouls, so he was trying to make sure he didn't foul out in case the game goes to overtime or something like that, probably. So I have a feeling that maybe that had something to do with it also. But Bam Adebayo, we haven't seen a game like that. I think this is his best game of the year. He hasn't scored this many points, I think, since the first week or two of the season. Like it was a great performance by Bam Adebayo. He hit 4 of his 6 threes, which we were talking about was it yesterday, the day before yesterday, how he's not even taking 3-point shots anymore. I'm not saying that I want him taking 6 a game, but I'm glad that he was putting them up yesterday. And obviously them going in, I'm sure that helps a lot also. So Bam Adebayo, great job. Davion Mitchell goes down with a shoulder injury, and definitely don't want to see that, but it's almost like a gift and a curse. The curse being that he got injured, but the gift being seeing Jaime Jaquez close out games with Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, and Bam Adebayo. That lineup, and I think he inserted Jaime early on in the first quarter and had Davion Mitchell be the first sub out. So Jaime was running with these guys also in the first quarter. I love Jaime Jaquez being the ball handler for this lineup. The way he can get to the paint, and then you can have Hero and Norman Powell that you can kick it out to. It kind of gives you that space in the middle. I know Andrew Wiggins didn't have a great game, but Andrew Wiggins every once in a while can have big games also. I love this lineup, especially to close games. I'm really liking Jaime Jaquez with these guys around him.
Absolutely, man. We talked about it off camera, and we were talking about how Jaime Jaquez is undervalued when it comes to everything that he does on the playmaking side of the game. And look, last night he showed how great of a playmaker he was. He had 8 assists, Danny, 16 points, 8 assists. He was plus 10 on the plus minus, and he played fantastic, man. He's been on fire all season long, and he is definitely, in my opinion, one of the favorites for Sixth Man of the Year, especially with everything that he's been doing for this team and for that second unit.
Khalil Ware, 16 minutes, 10 points, 5 rebounds. If you take into consideration that he just played 16 minutes, I think those are good stats. 2 for 3 from 3. Now, they killed us off in the offensive board, which hasn't been happening as of late. 18 offensive rebounds. That is one of the biggest reasons why the Suns were having such a good second half. But the Heat, you know what? After that third quarter, the way that they kind of got back and fought back and ended up winning this game, I think that says a lot. I don't know what you think is bigger. Is it stopping the losing streak? I'm sorry, my dog just decided to go crazy. Is it stopping the losing streak or Bam's performance? Because I'm not sure which of the other two is bigger.
I think it's both, right? I think it's the fact that it was Bam's performance that led to this Miami Heat victory. Without Bam Adebayo in the game last night, the Heat would have not won. He was very clutch. He was good in the first half. I believe in the first quarter he had 13 points or something like that. And they were showing a graphic on the TV saying over the last 7 games he's averaged 11 points. Last night he already had 13 in the first. He had 29 overall. And if the Heat are going to make a run, if the Heat are going to be dangerous, that's the type of Bam Adebayo that needs to be available night in and night out. And he'll have another chance tomorrow to see if he can match that energy, match that output, and see if we can finally be on another win streak here.
I think it's so weird that I think we all recognize that Eric Spoelstra is the best coach in the NBA. I don't think anybody even tries to debate that anymore. But the fact that they scored 36 in the first, 35 in the second, 35 in the fourth, but barely get to 20 in the third, what do you think is happening in the halftime locker room? Because it seems like the third quarter is just consistently an issue for this team. And you wouldn't figure that from a Spo-led team.
I mean, historically, that's why I call it the third quarter, because for some reason, whenever they come out of the locker room, and I think it's very weird that it ends up happening that way, because you have 5 to 10 minutes to warm up again and to put up shots. And I would assume that, you should get warm enough in those 5 to 10 minutes in halftime to be able to come out and make a statement in that third quarter. But for some reason, they continue to fall short in that third quarter. Like you said, only 21 points last night to the Suns 38, which was the biggest reason why they ended up coming back and tying the game. It was also turnovers, Danny. The Heat, unfortunately, were forced into making 12 turnovers last night. And I don't know, I know the offensive rebounds were a big part of it as well, but man, the Suns put up 102 shots last night to the Heat's 92.
18 offensive rebounds, man. Like that's something that we were complaining a lot about in the beginning of the season, but over the last 2 months or so, we have it. Khalil Ware helped clean up a lot of those issues.
Yeah. That guy, Mark Williams, their center, number 15, he had 6 offensive rebounds by himself. That is a big number, and he was big on the glass. It didn't matter who was covering him.
Seeing Bam, Norman, and Tyler Hero put up over 20 points is the reason why I thought this team would be a good team this year. Why I said that they'd be top 6 in the East before ever watching a game in the regular season this year. Because when you have 3 all-stars, right? Because we all say Norman Powell's an all-star, or should be at least. If you have 3 guys that could consistently give you 20, and you know that each one could take over at different parts of the game, you should be a top 6 team in the East. And yesterday was the first time we saw it, right? Bam ended up with 29. Norman Powell with 27. He hit 2 big threes. Was it a 3 and a 2 late in the game yesterday? I think the last minute or so. And then Tyler Hero, which had a big first half, not as great in the second half, even. But this is what you want to see. Like, I don't know if how long it's going to take them to figure out how to do it consistently, but this is what you want to see from this Heat squad.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. This is what you want to see. You want to see your best players playing well, right? And I thought last night was a good game overall, not a great game because obviously, you had that third quarter which you didn't play that great, and if they would have put up 30 points, this would have been a blowout. But I want to focus on Danny, if you don't mind, if I ask
Yeah.
you a little bit, what did you
No,
think
yeah.
about the Phoenix Suns and their defense? Because I thought they were a little dirty, and there was a
Okay.
number of plays throughout the
Yeah.
game where Dylan Brooks got a flagrant, Dylan Brooks got a technical, Devin Booker got a technical, and I thought they were just some really, really dirty plays, especially the offensive foul that they called against and I don't remember the person's name on the Suns, but that led to Davion Mitchell getting injured. Another dirty play, a lot of dirty plays last night, and the referees didn't make a lot of calls.
Yeah, they did seem like they were playing pretty aggressive, and you expect that from Dylan Brooks. Even Devin Booker, he was like shoving Paul Larson when Paul Larson was walking by him. Like, they are what seems to be an unlikable team, maybe. But I took something else out of it. I haven't looked to see where they are ranked defensively, but I thought defensively they're a fucking great team. Because I felt like Miami was doing such a good job moving the ball, and I felt like the Suns would get disorganized with, like, they would. I thought Miami was going to find a open man when they were moving the ball, but I felt like the Phoenix Suns are so good with their defensive rotations that what I thought would eventually end up as an open shot almost always ended up as a contested shot, except for late in the fourth quarter with Bam when he got some open shots. I thought that they were really good defensively. That's what when I was watching it. But you expect that from Dylan Brooks. You saw that three that somehow he I've never seen somebody shoot a three and then get called for a flagrant foul as you're shooting the three. Like, that is wild. Who the fuck who gets called for a flagrant foul as you are shooting the three-pointer? That's something that only Dylan Brooks can pull off.
Actually, there's another player who he's learned that from, and it's Kevin Durant. If you go back and look at Kevin Durant's fouls, especially when he's shooting three-pointers, there's a lot of times where he's the one that initiates the contact, similar to what Dylan Brooks did yesterday, except
not the way Dylan Brooks did it.
not as aggressive as
I've
Dylan
never
Brooks
seen him get called for a flagrant on a three.
Yeah, he shot the ball, and after he shot the ball, he knew it wasn't going in, so he did his best to draw a foul, except he forgot that the way to draw a foul is the defensive player has to foul you, not you foul the defensive player.
Dylan Brooks is a crazy person. You know what? And you know what? I usually like those crazy get in your head type of players. I don't like that guy.
Dude, Norman Powell almost went after him at one point. And Norman Powell is the nicest dude I've ever met. He doesn't seem like he would hurt a fly. And at one point in the game, I mean, Bam had to grab him. Bam had to grab him because he was about to take his head off.
Norman Powell said that he's accustomed to playing against Dylan Brooks. Obviously, he played on the West Coast with the Clippers, so he's played him a few times. And he said he's also played him a lot in college. So he said he's accustomed to the Dylan Brooks antics. And, he said that he wasn't going to fall for his antics. It seemed like it was getting under his skin a little bit, but that's what Dylan Brooks does. Dylan Brooks is good at getting under people's skin. And like I said, I like those players. Jose Alvarado from the Pelicans, that's somebody that I think that the Heat would be awesome with, just having him come off the bench. I love those personalities. They get in your face, get under your skin. But Dylan Brooks, man, he just does it to an extent where I really dislike the guy.
What do you think about your boy Grayson Allen, man?
Oh my God. I was texting you last night about how much I hate that guy. I hate Grayson Allen. Oh my God.
It's just a guy who like a dislikable guy for some reason.
Just looking at his face, I don't like him.
You just want to punch his face.
Yeah, I don't know why. And I don't know what it is. Since college, I just didn't like this guy. Well, whatever. I don't know. And you know what? I didn't go into this thinking that I was going to dislike the Suns, but after this conversation, I think I don't like the Suns anymore. So
you're starting to add teams to your not like list.
Yeah. Well, speaking of teams I don't like, the team that I dislike the most, there's two of them, is the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks. And we got the Boston Celtics tomorrow night. They just lost to the Indiana Pacers. Jaylen Brown, I know, didn't play that game because he's injured. He has some back spasm or something. So I don't know if he's going to be available to play against us tomorrow night. Usually I'm like, you know what, beat the team at full strength. That's what I want to see. But the way the Heat have been going recently, F it. Give us a Jaylen Brownless Boston Celtics, and let's try to get this dub because we need to start stacking dubs because tomorrow is the halfway point of the season. It's the 41st game of the season, and it's time to start writing this ship because I feel like we're borderline. I've been seeing some people on Twitter saying that they want a tank. The Miami Heat are not going to tank. So I think it's weird to say that. I do know that over the last couple of years, the NBA has kind of gifted the first overall pick to teams, even if they have a low percentage. So, I mean, I don't know if they would want to do that to the Miami Heat, though. They usually do it to like a team that just lost a big star or something like that. But that's where we're at. We got the Boston Celtics next, and then we have after the Boston Celtics, we got the OK City. We got OKC again. And then we got the West Coast trip. We got the Warriors, Kings, Trailblazers, and Jazz. But whatever. The next two games are going to be rough.
Streaking, baby.
That's the hope. Any final words there, Solana?
No, man. I'm just happy to be able to do this show and just happy that the Heat won last night. Obviously, after that third quarter and the Suns coming back to tie it, you didn't know what to expect in the fourth quarter, but they turned it on. And they were able to pull out the dub, a big dub to bring their record 2 games over 500. And before we go, you want to check to see where they're at in the standings? Are they 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th?
I don't know. They might still be 8th. Let's see. NBA standings. They are 8th still. They are 8th. And let's see, because you know that the East is kind of jumbled up. They are 2 games out of 5th, which is the Sixers. And they are 2.5 games out of 4th.
Yeah. So,
and if you want to get really crazy, they are only 4.5 out of 2nd.
Yeah, and there's 42 games left to be played. There's a lot of basketball left to be played, and the East is an absolute crapshoot this year. It could be absolutely anybody other than Cleveland and New York, right, which are 1 and 2. It could be absolutely anybody.
Detroit.
Sorry, I forgot about Detroit.
Man, no, Cleveland right now is 7th. We're only half a game behind them.
Lovely.
We kind of, I think everybody figured that they were frauds, even though they kicked the Heat's ass last year, like to like an extent that I never would have expected it. Going into that series, I thought the Heat had a chance because I always looked at them as frauds. And here you go. I mean, obviously they kicked the Heat's ass last year, but
we did whoop that ass this year. Then they whooped our ass
without all their stars. Go figure. The John Morant stuff is getting louder, so maybe we'll talk about that. If it gets louder, maybe we'll have a show just talking about John Morant and how that would look if he were to come over. So look out for that in a couple of days. If these rumors keep getting, because they're getting louder. They're getting louder.
Rachel Nichols reported he wants to be here, so we'll see.
I still take Tyler Hero over the job. I don't know.
I don't. Sorry.
Man can't shoot. Whatever. All right. We appreciate you listening to the end. If you're listening on audio, please leave us 5 stars and a comment. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. And we'll be back on Friday morning talking about hopefully a streak. And then you could open the show with We're Streaking. So until the next one, have a good one.